saying yes, Your Lordship, that the spoken or unspoken assumption is that Article 370 is temporary, lying in wait for a greater integration. I'm saying that view is completely fallacious because integration is not a measure of how much control the center has.
What did you say at the end? Integration is not a measure?
It's not measured by how much control the center has. It is not a function of central control or power. And it would be pernicious to say that people in the Union Territory are more integrated than, say, people in a sixth schedule area. That's not how our democracy works, and that's not how we view people. So this assumption that Kashmir and Jammu were not integrated, even earlier, even in Iyengar's speech, the waiting is for accession, whether they ratify it or they don't ratify it. But once they acceded, they became Indians. And in fact, even before the Indian Army, when the facts are this, even before the Sikh regiment reached Srinagar, it was the Kashmiris of the valley who fought the intruders, and many of them were martyred. Mir Maqbul Sherwani is only one name. He was strung up and crucified as an example by the intruders. Hundreds of them.
Stop those people.
Yeah. Not crossover. I mean, it's heroism beyond belief. So we're not waiting for them to integrate anymore. Now, at the point of that, at the point of accession, aside from when the Maharaja yielded, how much sovereignty he retained, whether his pact is enforceable or not as a fact between two sovereigns of whom one was subsumed, is a different matter. I'm saying there's a democratic argument to be made of shared sovereignty. At the point of accession, because political sovereignty vests in the people of Jammu and Kashmir became sharers of Indian sovereignty as political sovereigns. And your lordships have recognized the theory that political sovereignty is entrusted to the legal sovereigns, and the constitution is an embodiment of that. And your lordships have recognized in the Indira Nehru Gandhi case that this legal sovereignty, it's a medieval concept to call it indivisible. It is essentially divisible. The nation state is an association of associations, and sovereignty, legal sovereignty, spread over various units. Of course, that case was considering the legal sovereignty as distributed among the three organs of the state. But the principle is equally applicable to the divided sovereignty between the center and the states. Because long ago, much has been said about the dual polity. I don't have to repeat it. So what Article 370 recognizes is the mode of government. It is the shared sovereignty of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the merging of their democratic will with that of the rest of India. So in that sense, there is a democratic pact which has become part of Article 370. It has a constitutional recognition and guarantee. And that is quite aside from whether the Maharaja's pact with Mountbatten is enforceable or not. There is a democratic principle behind it. So in my view, Article 370 reflects and incorporates an entrustment of popular sovereignty to a divisible and shared legal sovereignty between the center and the state of J&K.
Just a second. Article 370 recognizes, can you come again on that?
An entrustment of popular sovereignty to a divisible and shared legal sovereignty between the center and the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah.
And just as integration is not synonymous with centralism, sovereignty is not the preserve of the center. Article 370 also reflects and recognizes the historical and geopolitical background of a democratic coming together of people's will. The will of the people of Jammu and Kashmir meeting the will of the rest of the Indians. It was really a democratic urge, and many have spoken about it, how they chose India over Pakistan, although they were not given the choice of a plebiscite. Even so, they chose a secular and democratic option. They said, here is a state which recognizes that sovereignty vests in the people. And also, as your lordship said in Indira Nehru Gandhi, that this shared sovereignty is really a system of checks and balances. Equally, it is so between the center and the state. So Article 370 also reflects a system of checks and balances, central power and the power of the state. State of Jammu and Kashmir. Because the people are never completely excluded from any process, although they have entrusted their sovereignty. This is what the judgment says. So the checks and balance system is what expresses the political sovereignty so that nobody encroaches. So Article 370, in that sense, the will of the people of J&K permeates every part of Article 370, 371, and 371 survives. It is not, I do not endorse the view that the whole article has come to an end. 371, the concurrence, and I'm not saying it's binding. What Iyengar's speech is certainly not binding, but it reflects the fact that despite there being a titular monarch, the power of concurrence, even when there was no state legislature, was given to the largest party because it was a democratic step. And that is why 371, both for concurrence and for consultation, it's the state government is emphatically defined as a governor advised by a council of ministers. Even the CO 272 says that. Whether by mistake or what, I don't know. So a governor who is not advised by a council of ministers is not recognized by 370. And therefore, any CO issued during a period of president's rule is simply not competent. Actually, I checked. In 70 years, all of 5 COs have been issued during president's rule or governor's rule. 1 in 1986 and 4 extending the term of presidential proclamation in the year between 90 and 96.
What's the number of the 1986 year?
129, CU 129.
And what was it relating to?
It was relating to, I think, the power under Article 249. It was a temporary resolution. And it was challenged, but it was never tested. What I want to say is this has never been tested for constitutionality. It was challenged in the Delhi High Court, but eventually it was dismissed as infructuous. So there is no ruling. So despite the peremptory terms of Article 370, whether a non-responsible government, a government not responsible to the state legislature, could exercise this power of concurrence has never been tested. And I'm saying it cannot be done. I could hand over the 5 COs. It's there.